My name is William Martinez. I'm from Los Angeles, California. Both my parents are immigrants. My dad immigrated from the state of Oaxaca, from a small town named San Jerónimo Zoochina. My mother, she's from the state of Morelos, and they both met here in Los Angeles, California. They actually met in K-Town, Los Angeles, Koreatown, Olympic and Normandy area. And at the age, I think they were probably 18, 19, that was back in 1975. So there was big of a transition right there coming from the U.S. or from Mexico and then coming into the U.S. Back in that day, the mid-70s, there was not a big Latino Mexican population in the area. So the big immigration started happening in the 80s to early to mid-80s. Again, my dad's from Zoochina, mom is from Morelos, and I identify as American and of Mexican descent. Yeah, I'm involved with the hometown association of my grandparents, San Jerónimo Zoochina, and the reason I can honestly tell you is as a child. I remember being a kid, being 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, and being brought to these meetings, these hometown association meetings, and I would see my other cousins, and we would just run around everywhere, all over, up and down the house or where the meeting space that they were having. But I didn't realize that it set something in me. It set a seed in me where I would see my parents, I would see and other individuals from Zoochina that they were they were agents of change, and they were taking being active participants in creating a change in their hometown. So that's where my inception of the hometown association started. That was the genesis of it. Growing up, like some, including myself, I enjoyed the music, but I never really knew what it meant to me. I enjoyed going to the fiestas, to the kermeses, but I didn't know what it meant to me until I left for the military. When in the military, I remember being up Friday nights and saying to myself, wow, right now, back home in LA, the band is practicing, right? And that music was very powerful for me because I remember my parents would send me music from the band and from other bands, and I would listen to it by myself, right? And it helped me connect myself to Zoochina, to Oaxaca, and to my small town. And it's helped to connect as well here to Los Angeles. But as I started growing up, I really was able to identify how important the hometown association was to me and how important Zoochina was to me, because it helped to create a connection between myself, not just culturally or emotionally, but also, again, culturally and physically, because I remember growing up as a kid, going to Zoochina like every other year. I remember going every other year, and one of the first things I would do when I would get to Zoochina was put on my grandfather's machete and then go out into the field and go take care of animals, or go out into the field and into the cornfields and helping them out with that, or going to like the mangales in Tierra Caliente. I remember all that, and again, I had no idea how much that meant to me until I didn't have it accessible to me at the time for 8 years. But once I returned, I immediately went back to Zoochina. Obviously, just I can't go for like years, but I went for like a week or two, I remember. And during that time, I felt, once again, I felt connected to my town, and I felt whole. And during that time that I was there, I remember sitting down with my grandfather and then with other elders of the town, and then having conversations with them and having them express their experiences of coming here to the United States during the Bracero program, and having my grandfather tell me all his experiences of working in the fields here in Los Angeles, in Modesto, and in Yuba, and in other towns in Northern California, and it was crazy to me because he would talk to me about Oakland, and I tell him, well, I live in Oakland, right? And it was really cool to be able to share those experiences in that conversation with him, along with the other elders of Zoochina. The other thing that was really cool was that they would have all these, they would have ceremonies to kind of cleanse your body of all the negativity that I guess that I saw and that I felt during my time in the military. And I don't know what it did to me, but it helped me out because I felt again rejuvenated, and I felt I believed again in humanity, and it helped me out a great deal because once again I returned, I started doing really well at community college, really well at Berkeley, and then moved on forward to going to graduate school. So that was my inception into the Hometown Association, and just last year was my first year that I became secretary for the association. And again, we're constantly evolving and looking to do good and positive things for Zoochina, as well as for those individuals who are descendants of Zoochina here in Los Angeles.